Welcome back, everyone. It's Middays, live from Starkville, Mississippi at the Greater Starkville Development Partnership. We're pleased to welcome now Dr. Ann Marshall with the Ulysses S. Grant Presidential Library. Dr. Marshall, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I was just telling you during the break there that I wasn't familiar with the library here. That's really something. Pretty neat.
Yes. We actually, the collection that comprises the basis of the library has been here actually since 2008.
Wow.
It came from Illinois.
Okay.
And then we've been the presidential library since 2012. And in 2017, we built a brand new museum facility on the 4th floor of the Mitchell Memorial Library. So that's MSU's main library. And so we get visitors from all over the place now.
You know, I'm somewhat familiar with libraries pertaining to presidents in the more modern era, the more recent times. Do all presidents have a presidential library?
That is a great question, and the answer is no. It's kind of interesting. So a lot of the modern all of the modern presidential libraries, and most of the ones that people think about, are run in conjunction with the National Archives and Records Administration. So every president from Herbert Hoover forward has a NARA library, with just a couple of exceptions. But the presidents that served before Herbert Hoover are kind of on their own. So it's sort of the place that can claim the largest collection of research for researchers to use that gets to claim that. But we've got, for example, Theodore Roosevelt is just now getting his own library. There's a lot of sites around the country that were Theodore Roosevelt sites, but he didn't yet have a presidential library. And so we were able to claim that here at Mississippi State because of our research collection.
What sort of artifacts do you have in the library?
Well, we've got a lot of family items that have been donated to us, a lot of original manuscripts, and then we actually have a copy of every letter written to or from Ulysses S. Grant. And that's why we get researchers like, for example, Ron Chernow, who published a huge biography of Grant in 2017, came and hung out in Starkville for a month, actually researching in our library. We've had other historians like Ron White. Brett Baer recently wrote a book on.
Saw that, yeah.
Yes, so he and his research partner also came to Mississippi State to use our collections. We helped with the Grant miniseries that came out that was on the History Channel a few years ago.
I remember that, yeah. So, thinking through that, when you mentioned having letters, we don't write letters very much anymore. So future presidents, you think about curating a presidential library. How are we going to do that since most of that information is digital?
That is a great question, and I would have to be a computer scientist rather than a historian. No, but seriously, it's really interesting to go to these modern libraries where they have these people who are in charge of the digital records that are in charge of saving all of this, and it's complicated.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we don't have to, we just deal with illegible writing.
So are you expecting anything new? Are there things out there pertaining to President Ulysses S. Grant that you don't have in your library that might show up one day and say, yeah, this is perfect to include?
Yes. We get people coming out of the woodwork all the time, that have grant-related things, and sometimes they're not really grant-related.
Okay.
People think that they are. So we have to track down the provenance and be sure. But a lot of Grant's material, he's got a fascinating life story, and he went bankrupt towards the end of his life, and William Vanderbilt bought a lot of his items and then donated them to the Smithsonian after Grant died. So a lot of the really good Grant material is at the Smithsonian, and they're not going to give that to us, but we do have a lot of amazing treasures that are on display in our museum here in Starkville, all kinds of things. So
of course, what's unique about Grant is serving as the Union General, so you don't have too many presidents that I can think of that actually kind of played that dual role.
Yes, I know, and people are always surprised that Grant, who conquered Vicksburg and several other locations in Mississippi, now has a presidential library dedicated to, his military career and his, but as Dr. Keenum, President Mark Keenum likes to say, that, there's no state in the Union that had more to do with propelling Grant's career than the state of Mississippi. So, it's a great place to tell Grant's story, and people who visit our museum come away thinking that as well.
So when is the museum open? What are the hours? How does one get there and so forth?
Yes, so we are open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and on some Saturdays, most Saturdays, from 10 to 2, except for game days. And there's great parking instructions on our website. Okay. So I know people are intimidated to park on a college campus, but we make it easy, we promise. So.
All right. Well, appreciate you coming on and talking to us about the Ulysses S. Grant Presidential Library.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Ann Marshall has been our guest, folks.